Hey, Rich Stitzel here. Welcome to part 1 of a new series called Time Perspectives. The purpose of these exercises is to begin to develop the ability to play a rhythmic passage and perceive it in several different ways, several different time signatures, several different tempos. Let me explain. All the exercises in this series are written in 3/4 time. The subdivision is 16th notes. So there are 12 16th notes in a measure of 3/4 time. So if we were to compare that to a measure of 4/4 time with 16th notes, there'd be 16 16th notes. Obviously, there's one extra beat in 4/4 time. So first of all, we have to get 4/4 time to only have 12 notes in it. And one way to do that is turn it into eighth note triplets. So a measure of 4/4 time with eighth note triplets, now there are 12 notes in that measure. 12 notes of 16ths in 3/4, 12 notes of eighth note triplets in 4/4. 3/4 resolves one beat faster than 4/4. So now we need to speed up 4/4, the 4/4 measure, to be the same duration as the 3/4 measure. And here's how we do it. In 3/4 time, we're going to be at 90 beats per minute. If we want to make the 4/4 measure the same amount of space, the same amount of time duration, we're going to add 30 more beats per minute. So 120 beats per minute for 4/4. So 3/4 at 90 takes the same amount of time to resolve as 4/4 at 120. Both measures now have 12 notes in them, so they should sound the same. Now I did a little bit of a different thing here, and as you see on the sheet, we're going to have a measure of 3/4 and then a measure of 12/8. So instead of 4/4 with triplets, I made it 12/8 with just plain eighth notes. And that's because I wanted it to be really clean so the accents don't get confused with the threes to say, hey, you're playing a triplet. So instead, 12/8 time, 12 eighth notes, very simple. So the related time signature of 3/4 at 90 beats per minute is 12/8 at 120 beats per minute. The first step in this is to get the coordination of the exercises together. They're not that difficult. Everything's pretty straight ahead. There are 10 different permutations, which means 10 different accent permutations. If you have the book, if you've done some of my exercises, you will know that the accent permutations are always the downbeat, the e's, the ands, the uhs, the eighth note accents, one ands, the e's and uhs, the syncopated notes, the backbeat, which in 3/4 would be 2 and 3, 1 e and a 2 e and a 3 e and a 1 e and a 2 e and a 3 e and a. And then the final 3 are a dotted note polymeter. So dotted note would be 3 notes per grouping, per accent. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So in 3/4 would be 1 e and a 2 e and a 3 e and a 1 e and a 2 e and a 3 e and a. The final 2 are the dotted note starting on the E, 1 e and a 2 e and a 3 e and a. And then the dotted note starting on the and, 1 e and a 2 e and a 3 e and a. So each exercise, as you see on the sheet, is written one measure of 3/4 time with repeats, one measure of 12/8 time with repeats. That would be 1A and 1B. So you're going to play the 3/4 measure 8 times, and then you're going to go straight to the 12/8 measure 8 times, and then you're going to go back to the 3/4 measure 8 more times, and then to the 12/8 measure 8 times. Now here's the deal. Physically, nothing changes. The pattern doesn't speed up. It doesn't change anything. The physics are the exact same. The only thing that changes is the click and the counting, and you're going to hear that. You're going to hear a click in the play along, and you're going to hear me counting along. So once you get the physical coordination down, you want to start paying attention to the click and start paying attention to the movement of going in and out of these two different time perceptions, okay? Once that is comfortable, once you're aware that there's something changing, start to zero in on the counting. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. You're going to hear both of those different counting things. Eventually, you want to get to a point where you can truly convince yourself, yes, I'm in 3/4. I absolutely believe and know that I'm in 3/4. And then when the click moves to 12/8, really know, really convince yourself, and really believe I am in 12/8. Now, theoretically, that's a pretty simple task. But when you're in the heat of the moment, you will see that it's a little bit of a challenge. The main reason it's a challenge is because in 3/4, if you're playing quarter notes with your feet, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. When the time changes to 12/8, this duration of note value doesn't change, but the count changes. And these are no longer associated with the downbeats in 12/8. Check it out. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So they're very different. Make sure that you truly, it's so easy to fool ourselves. It's so easy to skim it and just go, oh yeah, okay, I made it. So really dig in deep with these things, because the more you truly understand it, the more you truly can change your belief in the perception of what's happening, the freer you will become when you're actually playing music, okay? This is going to open up your ability to express more fluidly, more elaborately if you choose. But what's going to happen is the most important thing to me is the time is going to be solid. The subdivisions are going to be really clean, and your expression is going to have a lot of power behind it, because it's going to be very assured and very confident when you're performing, because you understand more now. You've expanded your ability to understand rhythmic permutations, and that's the whole goal. Okay, so let's move on to number 1. Quarter notes with the feet, 16th notes on the snare, downbeats on, accents on the downbeats. So it's the right hand accent. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. All right, here we go. Okay, great. Let's move the accent now to the E's. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a. Here we go. Okay, cool. Let's move the accent to the ands. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a. Here we go. Excellent. Let's move the accent to the uhs. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. Let's move the accent to all eighth notes. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, let's hit all those other notes, the E's and the U's. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. Let's do the backbeat now. When you're in 3/4, the backbeat is on beats 2 and 3. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, Okay, great. The final three are all dotted note polymetric relationships. So the hands are accenting every 3/16 notes, which is a dotted eighth note. It sounds like this. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. Okay, here we go. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Excellent. The next one is the same dotted note structure, but now we're going to start on the E. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. Here we go. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Okay, great. The final dotted eighth note structure will begin on the and. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. Here we go. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Okay, great. You made it through all 10 exercises. It's a really great way to start to open up your understanding of how time functions. And I think it's invaluable for us as drummers and musicians, no matter what instrument you play, to understand as much as you can about how time works, how you can move in and out of different subdivisions and different durations of measure. It just frees you. It makes everything easier. It makes everything more fluid and you can really communicate on a deeper level the more you understand. So I hope you enjoyed these exercises, and I look forward to sharing the next part of the series with you where the feet are doing dotted notes, which is a lot of fun. Totally different beast. Okay, happy practicing. See you soon.